And welcome back to the Michael Cohen Show on my birthday. Look, I'm not going to stop. Can't stop for birthdays, can't stop for funerals, can't stop for lunch, because the craziness, the insanity that's going on in DC right now, it's boundless. So do me a favor, help me to grow this community. It's all I ask as a birthday present. Help me to grow this community. Subscribe, watch, comment, and share with family and friends. We got to put an end to this thing. Meanwhile, today, Trump met with the president of South Korea. And it, I don't know, unsurprisingly, well, didn't go too well. I mean, this is exactly the wrong way to handle diplomacy. So, look, Trump is meeting with the leader of another country, and out of nowhere starts talking about Obama and the ozone layer. No, serious. I mean, why? Anyways, one thing that he did say about South Korea was that he wants to be given ownership of Korean land where we have a U.S. military base. It's all about the land. Play the clip.
South Korea, would you reduce the number of forces in South Korea so that the United States could have more flexibility in the region? Would you consider reducing the number of U.S. forces in South Korea so that the United States can have more flexibility?
Well, I don't want to say that now because we've been friends and we're friends. And look, we have a lot of people over there. We have over 40,000 troops in South Korea. As you know, South Korea agreed to pay for that during my last term. And then when Biden came in, they complained to Biden that I wasn't a nice person. And he agreed not to pay. He gave up billions of dollars. We were getting paid billions of dollars. But then Biden ended that for whatever reason. It's unbelievable that he did. But we have a very good relationship militarily. They would say, but we gave you land. I said, no, you didn't. You lease us land. There's a big difference between giving and leasing. And maybe one of the things I'd like to do is ask them to give us ownership of the land where we have the big fort. You know, we spent a lot of money building a fort. And there was a contribution made by South Korea. But I would like to see if we could get rid of the lease and get ownership of the land where we have a massive military base.
Wow. Meanwhile, it's very similar to, I don't know, sound like Putin taking Crimea? I don't know. Meanwhile, Trump was asked about Kim Jong-un, their arch enemy, and this was his response, that he gets along with him great. Play the clip.
Kim Jong-un wants to meet. When do you want to meet with him?
With who?
You said the North Korean leader wants to meet. How soon would you?
Yeah, we want to have a meeting. I like to have a meeting. I get along great with him. You know, you were there. We even had a press conference. He had his first press conference. Kim Jong-un had a press conference. This was a little different press conference. I said,
I mean, you're talking, I guess the old adage of like the enemy of my enemy is supposed to be my enemy, right? I mean, they are arch enemies. Meanwhile, reporter goes on and asks Trump if he was briefed on the search of John Bolton's house. These press conferences, they turn into this gigantic sort of smorgasbord of questions on every single chaotic topic that's going on in DC right now. So said the reporter just John Bolton out, hey, Mr. President, were you briefed on the search of John Bolton's house? Here, play the clip.
Search of John Bolton's home and office from Friday. Have you been briefed on that?
I have not been briefed. No, I read it just like you did. I was never a fan of his. I thought he was stupid. I thought he was, you know, a guy that only wanted to go into war. He liked killing people. I thought he was essentially a bad guy, but I'm not involved in that. No, you'd have to ask Pam Bondi about that.
Are more raids coming?
Let me be very clear about something. There is nothing that's taking place in DC. Why not just say, yeah, I was briefed on it. They asked me, I said, it's your decision. You're the Attorney General. Kash Patel, you're the head of the FBI. You know, I appreciate the briefing, but if you believe that you have something there, knock yourselves out. Why not just say that? Nobody believes for a second that Donald Trump was not briefed in advance of this FBI raid. So why not just own it? In fact, I think if owning it would even make him look stronger. It would acknowledge that he will be your retribution. Another journalist blurts out and asks him if more raids like that would be coming soon. Play the clip.
You'd have to ask Pam Bondi about that.
Are more raids coming, sir? Are more raids like that coming, sir? Are more raids like the one on John Bolton's house coming?
More raids? I don't know. You'd have to ask the Department of Justice. They raided my house, I can tell you that. They did a big raid on my house. They took away everything that wasn't pinned down, and they took away some of that too. No, they raided Mar-a-Lago. They started that. And these were bad people that we had in our government before. They raided Mar-a-Lago. They went into my wife's area. They went into my son's area, my young son. And what they did was a disgrace. But how did it work out? Oh, I see. We're in the overall. Oh, I guess it didn't work out too well for them, did it? They are bad people. They're sick. They're sick people. And they came in with their guns into Mar-a-Lago. Like 98 people. I wasn't there. Fortunately, I wasn't there. But they are very evil, very sick people, that group. And if they would have won the election, this country wouldn't exist as we know it. This country would have been a failed country.
Somewhere I think he's conflating the FBI with Democrats. Meanwhile, Trump then started ranting about J.B. Pritzker being a dictator. Like I said, these meetings, they devolve into just nonsensical rants. Play the clip.
It would be good to work together. So I'm thinking about, when I have some slob like Pritzker criticizing us before we even go there, I made the statement that next should be Chicago, because as you all know, Chicago is a killing field right now. And they don't acknowledge it. And they say, we don't need him. Freedom, freedom. He's a dictator. He's a dictator. A lot of people are saying maybe we like a dictator. I don't like a dictator. I'm not a dictator. I'm a man with great common sense, and I'm a smart person. And
Meanwhile, he also made a claim that he wants to file a lawsuit now against Gavin Newsom. When? Not sure, but soon. Play that clip.
It sounds terrible, but
Mr. President, Gavin Newsom, you mentioned Gavin Newsom on crime.
Gavin Newsom, yes.
Is there a federal mechanism you're hoping to use to fight back against his redistricting constitutional amendment, or is that
Well, I think I'm going to be filing a lawsuit pretty soon, and I think we're going to be very successful in it. We're going to be filing it through the Department of Justice. That's going to happen.
Look, let me be very clear, including the nonsense that you're hearing coming from folks like J.D. Vance and others, that Gavin Newsom started this Ted Cruz, as you may have seen in one of my earlier episodes here of the Michael Cohen show. This has nothing to do with Gavin Newsom. He's responding to the gerrymandering taking place by Governor Abbott in Texas. Meanwhile, since Trump federalized the D.C. police, I've been pointing out that he's only attacking, and again, it's not some, hey, Captain Obvious nonsense. He is only attacking blue cities, ignoring the simple fact that the most dangerous cities in the United States are not blue. They're not Democratic states. They are red and ruby red states. Reporter finally asked Trump about this. Play the clip.
President, on the National Guard, you've talked a lot about Democratic-run cities and states. Yeah. Would you also consider sending the National Guard into red states and red cities that are also seeing high crime?
Sure, but there aren't that many of them. If you look at the top 25 cities for crime, just about every one of those cities is run by Democrats. And one of the bad things they did, cashless bail, if you look back on time, when they allowed a murderer out that afternoon, he'd kill somebody and then a couple of hours later he's walking the streets again, oftentimes killing again rapidly. Cashless bail is a disaster. You saw we had a news conference today on that. We're wiping it out in the...
Yeah, by the way, he's not wrong about cashless bail. I've been opposed to it all along. But why didn't this journalist, this reporter, or a reporter turn around and said, and all you need to do is just Google it on your fucking phone. Just Google it. Just start typing with your little thumbkins and turn around. Top 25 worst cities in America for gun violence. Louisiana, Cleveland, Ohio. These are all red states. Mr. President, I'm terribly sorry, but the statement that you just made is empirically inaccurate. Please, sir, allow me just to say, if you Google the 25 most dangerous cities by gun violence, 20 of the 25 are actually red. In fact, the first 5 are ruby red, where you had won by greater than double digits. Can we get an answer for you on that? Now, for months, MAGA has wanted foreign students out of the United States, specifically Chinese ones. Trump, and I don't know the reason why, for whatever reason today, I don't know, seems to have changed his tune. Play the clip.
We're going to get along good with China. I hear so many stories about we're not going to allow their students, or we're going to allow their students to come in. We're going to allow, it's very important, 600,000 students. It's very important.
Yeah, okay. I agree. I absolutely agree. Now, look, in a classic moment, Trump claimed that he's going to wait to see what happens between Russia and Ukraine over the next, how many weeks? Come on, you know the answer to this one. 2 weeks, and then go from there. Play the clip.
There has not been a war like this since the Second World War. This is the biggest thing that's happened in terms of warfare, wars. It's a whole new form of fighting. It's a drone fighting. It's a drone war. No, a drone war never existed before. And we're actually studying it from the standpoint of Pete Hegseth and everybody. We're studying it and studying it very carefully. This is a whole new form of war, but it's a violent war, and there has been nothing like this since the Second World War. So we'll see what happens over the next week or two, and at that point I'll step in very strongly, and if I have to be there, I'll be there. And we'll either have a deal or we won't.
Well, in fact, if I'm not mistaken, I think Putin said he didn't want President Trump there. So how he's going to step in and strongly, I don't have the answer to that one. Now, finally, I want to end on a clip of Trump just making, once again, just an inaccurate statement. Whoever the enabler is that's providing him with this information, you know, it's one thing to stretch the truth. It's just another to be so far gone from the reality that you don't even have to know what you're talking about to know that this doesn't make any sense. For example, he starts claiming that he will reduce drug prices by 1,400%. We're back to that. 1,400%. So let me be crystal clear. My $100 migraine medication is now going to end up not costing me any money, but I should then, at 1,400%, if you do the math, I will get a $1,300 rebate. Play the clip.
Can cost cut, I like it, but nothing's going to happen to medical. We have something coming up, favored nations, where I'm going to be reducing drug prices by 1,500%, where a pill that sells in Germany for $10 costs $150 here. Because
okay. Once again, this is where the enablers have to come in, and they have to sort of set the record straight. There is no 1,400% reduction in drug prices, not on a $10 pill, not on my $100 migraine pill. So let me be crystal clear about it. If Trump was successful, which I believe and hopefully he will be, favored nations, that we should as well be entitled to favored nation status on medical supplies, on drugs, he would be hailed as a success. He successfully brought down drug prices. But why make up a number of 1,400% if he could reduce it by 50%, by 60%, favored nation 80%? You know, the difference, for example, between medication in Canada and the United States is like 70%, 60% difference. Somewhere in between that, depending upon the drug. If he was able to just get Canadian prices, he would be touted as, yeah, it's a win for all of us. That's why I keep saying, help me to build this community. And with that, Thanks for listening. Hey, everyone. First of all, thanks for watching. I mean, we're going to be posting daily episodes with reactions and talking about politics. We'll be talking about everything, in fact. So please like and subscribe. Join us on this journey.